This is Retirement Keys with Anthony Kangemi from Crescent City Retirement Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Anthony provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is Retirement Keys with your host, Anthony Kangemi.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Retirement Keys. I'm your host, Anthony Kangemi. We have our co-host with us today, Tony Shore. We thank you so much for joining us. We are going to have a very good show today, I think. We have a special guest. Lisa Hall is with us, and we're going to be talking about the real estate market and how that might tie into your retirement planning. So we're really, Tony, looking forward to a good show today.
Well, it sounds like you've got a great one lined up, and I love the fact, Anthony, that we have a special guest, a specialist in her field. I'm excited. So, Anthony, why don't you introduce us to Lisa, and Lisa, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, well, so Lisa's with us, Tony. She's with Keller Williams. She works really closely with Nikki Del Marmol, who they actually work out of our firm, Tony, as well in other capacities of service. But
oh, wow.
Yeah, they do, and really just phenomenal realtors here in our city. And so we're really, as I say, real happy to have Lisa with us today. So Lisa, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, yes, thanks Anthony and Tony for having me. I'm happy to be on the show.
Tell us a little bit about your background, Lisa, and where your specialty lies.
So my husband and I, he's a contractor in the New Orleans area, and we have some income producing properties. We also work some flip properties as well. And we have found it to be very lucrative to have investment properties, income producing properties, rentals, especially in the market right now. There's a need for them. But me and Nikki, we work alongside each other. We met during a real estate transaction and worked alongside each other ever since. And we work with both buyers, sellers, investors, landlords, and tenants.
Very good, Lisa. So, we talk a lot in retirement planning. We talk a lot about income planning. It's really a foundational piece to any sound retirement plan. And I can't tell you how many clients I have that we have here at our firm that do just that. They buy real estate for income purposes and the like. And so you feel that the real estate market right now is prime for that type of thing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially in the last few months, the rental properties have really increased. I mean, people are needing to be relocated. In our area, we've increased in the film industry. There's a lot of films being made here. So people who are relocating for those types of jobs and or working in the medical field. So there's definitely low inventory as far as rentals, and there is much of a demand for them right now.
So
wow.
It really seems to be. I was talking to a client of mine who is a property manager at one of the it's a large firm here in this city, and she's a property manager for one of their properties, and she was. And of course, these are more upscale properties, but a 1-bedroom apartment, she was telling me, is renting for like $2,400 a month for a 1-bedroom.
Wow!
Absolutely.
Can you imagine?
No, that's a house note for most people. That's crazy. But I was surprised, Lisa, to hear you say, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I think it's really cool about the movie and film and TV industry doing a lot of location shoots and that bringing people into the region and needing real estate there.
Yes, absolutely. I've actually recently gotten quite a few phone calls on some productions, and I had a client that was going to be listing her house, and then somebody approached them in the film industry, and they were interested in renting the property out for, let's say, 6 months.
Oh, wow.
So, it's definitely out there. There's a market for it. Short-term rentals, and I don't mean Airbnbs, but short-term rentals can be,
Sure.
4 to 6 months and even into 12 months. Furnished rentals, unfurnished rentals, either way, there is a demand for them right now.
So the rental market demand, I know the housing market itself, there's a demand, but it's also rental properties. And Anthony, that's crazy. A 1-bedroom apartment, $2,400 a month. That's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is, Tony. And so, when you have clients that are looking to diversify in terms of their income planning and structuring income and retirement, this is another area, if you will, as it relates to, just good old-fashioned diversification for structured income that certainly would keep up with inflation. In last week's show, we talked a lot about inflation. And so real estate can be and is another aspect of income and structuring income and income planning, Tony.
Wow. So especially for, it really is a part of people's finances, and a lot of people use it as investment. So I know, Lisa, that you see all kinds, and we'll get into a lot of people who are thinking about retiring. Downsizing is also a big part of this. And the market, the way it's at now, Lisa, it's really been increasing. I mean, the housing market is kind of booming as far as values go, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, there's still such a low inventory of homes for sale. So we've got the supply and demand factor in there. Low supply, high demand, because interest rates are still so low. And the average price of a home that's listed in, let's just say, Orleans Parish and Jefferson Parish, anywhere from $300,000 to $440,000. That's the average list price. And from our experience, I mean, homes, they don't stay on the market that long. I mean, there's just not enough. A lot of homes, there's multiple offers on these homes, so they're selling quickly. So it's kind of like happy sellers, happy buyers right now, because the sellers are getting over asking most of the time.
Wow.
Selling quickly, and then the buyers they're getting low interest rates, so a little bit more for your money. They can afford more than what they maybe would not have been able to afford if the interest rates were higher.
Sure.
So it's definitely an interesting market right now.
Yeah, a lot of things coming into play. I mean, the economy, interest rates, and demand, like everything else right now.
Yeah.
Demand is driving prices high. And, it's funny you mentioned that. My neighborhood, my wife and I have lived in our neighborhood for 23 years. And it used to be you always saw for sale signs, especially in the spring and toward the end of the year. But it seemed like there were always, live in a pretty large neighborhood residential area. And you'd always see signs all over. Now you don't. The only signs we ever see are the first time we see them, they have sold on them, and there's hardly any of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, now we're working in a market where we have Facebook and there's all types of social media, so people are posting it there.
Sure.
Once they get them listed, and so a lot of times people are aware that they're coming to the market before the sign's even out there.
Wow. Well, and I imagine you have people come to you say, "Hey, I'm thinking of selling my house," and you say, "Well, I have 5 buyers."
Absolutely, absolutely.
So,
that is exactly how that conversation goes.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I think obviously, real estate as an investment is interesting. So if you own property right now, you may be happy about that. But if you're looking, I mean, it can be a tough market, I guess.
Absolutely. Nikki and I, when we meet with buyers that are wanting to buy, I mean, it's all about kind of coaching them through the process and, how can we make a strong offer. Of course, every situation is going to be unique to that buyer, but we try to coach them on how to win the deal, and it's all about strategy and the terms of what we want to offer.
Yeah, that's interesting, Lisa. So, I mean, at the end of the day, when you start thinking about your largest asset, typically, it's going to be real estate, your home, maybe a retirement account. But how things can be structured when we start talking about investment property and income planning, I mean, can be a very a lucrative aspect to an overall retirement plan, is diversifying into real estate. For a seller, a client that might be looking to downsize as a retiree, of course, that is also common, and this can be a great opportunity as well to really be downsizing in a market where prices are so good and interest rates are so good. So it really is kind of a perfect storm in a lot of different scenarios, and it can really all build in and incorporate into an overall retirement strategy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think retirement is another aspect, and I want to get into more of that and maybe talk about downsizing. Lisa, I'm sure you've dealt with that. A lot of folks downsizing or wondering what to do about their living situation in retirement. But first, let's take a quick break. Anthony, do you have anything you want to add before the break?
Well, I just want to thank you all for joining us this morning. We really appreciate you tuning into our show. As you know, we're real methodical about our retirement planning. We feel that there's 5 key areas to any sound plan, and that would be estate and legacy planning, how things are going to pass on, your healthcare strategy, your investment strategy, of course, your income plan, which is really the foundation of any retirement plan, and then being very tax efficient. And so we just again, appreciate you tuning in. We enjoy coming to you each week, and we're so happy to have special guests like Lisa here this morning that are specialize in certain areas of our economy and our financial life. And so we appreciate you joining us. If you have any questions or you'd like to look at a formal retirement plan, I'd really encourage you to take advantage of our special offer.
You've been listening to our shows and advice on getting your finances in order and creating a retirement income plan that will last. Now is the time to take advantage of our special offer. This is Anthony Congemi of Crescent City Retirement Group, and we're now offering a complimentary gourmet dinner and retirement planning workshop, the 5 keys to a stress-free retirement. This is one workshop you won't want to miss. Call in the next 20 minutes for this no-cost offer. Seating is limited. Call Crescent City Retirement Group within the next 20 minutes at 504-828-2171. That number again is 504-828-2171.
And welcome back to Retirement Keys. I'm your co-host, Tony Shore, and I'm here with our host, Anthony Congemi. And Anthony, great show so far today. We have a very special guest with us. And Anthony, we're talking about real estate and the real estate market, housing, as an investment, housing in retirement. And Lisa, you gave us a really good look at where the market is at right now. And that's up and high demand and not a lot of supply. So it's kind of the story of everything right now, isn't it, Anthony?
It really is, Tony. Again, it could be one of the greatest assets that people own is real estate, whether it be your own personal property or you might, like I say, we have many clients that have rentals and they structure income that way. Of course, there's appreciation. There's all sorts of opportunities in the real estate market for retired folks. And so we really, feel like it's an asset that needs to be looked after and taken care of, and making sure that you're utilizing that asset, Tony. It's really a big part of an overall retirement plan, and so we're so happy to have Lisa here and bringing her experience and expertise to this topic. So, Lisa, tell us a little bit about the downsizing. I mean, what is your experience in that, and what are the benefits of a client's downsizing in retirement?
So, I mean, most smaller homes sell for more per square foot. So if you've ever looked in a neighborhood and you've got, small houses, medium-sized houses, large houses, in order to keep that price very similar in a neighborhood, the way they adjust it is that the smaller square foot homes sell for more per square foot. So, I mean, I think it's a good thing if you are downsizing. If you're getting a smaller square foot home, more than likely you're going to be able to still compete with the sales price, so to speak, of larger size homes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that too. A lot of times, just for just practical reasons, taxes are much higher typically on the larger homes. Upkeep, I know that a lot of times as you get older, the upkeep. You don't want to, you're trying to kind of scale down a little bit. A lot of times the newer homes, a smaller, newer home might have less upkeep, could be lower taxes, more efficient. So it's all those reasons. I know even bedroom positioning. I know in some of these homes that have bedrooms, upstairs, and as we're getting older, manipulating the stairs. Typically I'm assuming the downstairs bedroom or the master bedroom may be on the first floor, but it's a lot of square footage up there. A lot of times as we get older, that's really just wasted space. And so, if we're not manipulating the stairs as we get older. And so a lot of times, and I've noticed this over the years with my clients, a lot of times they'll shut off the whole upstairs and, because they're just really not using it. And so to be able to take an opportunity to do the downsizing and get and take advantage of the market, and then getting into something that's more efficient, that's going to be carry us not only to retirement but through retirement. I've noticed a lot of times people look at those things and can really make some good deals in that regard. Absolutely.
I mean, you said taxes, but insurance as well is going to be lower on a smaller home, and like you said, a newer home. A lot of times the insurance rates on a newer home are much lower for homeowners insurance.
The interest rates, Lisa, tell us a little bit about interest rates right now and what you feel going forward.
Yeah, so interest rates are still very, very low. It's still a good time to refinance. My most recent buyer was still able to get under 3%, which is just incredibly low. I mean, it's incredible that it's lasted this long.
Wow.
When they rolled out in early 2020. Everybody kind of thought there was a big rush of sales in early 2020 because people thought those rates were going to run out, but they've continued to kind of stay at a good low rate. So again, that supply and demand is still there.
Yeah, so I bet you've seen a lot of refinancing over the last couple of years with the interest rates being so low.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it just seems to me like a perfect storm. I mean, if you're close to retirement, nearing retirement, or in retirement, and you had any aspirations at all to whether it be structuring income from rentals or whether it be capitalizing on this market and parlaying those that equity into downsizing into a smaller property, taking advantage of the lower interest rates, whether it be a refi, there's leveraging equity to purchase rentals. I mean, it just seems to me like, and I'm no real estate expert, but it just seems to me like it's as I say, it's almost like a perfect storm. I mean, you have appreciated properties, you have low interest rates, and if you have a good realtor and you have folks that really look at it as more of an investment strategy, you can really you can utilize this opportunity and really maybe move the needle a little bit for you as it relates to retirement.
Yeah. And Lisa, do you have clients that use or work with people who use real estate as an investment?
Absolutely. Nikki and I work with quite a few investors, whether they're looking to invest in the property and keep it as income producing property or fix it up and flip it. It's definitely something that is a high demand in the area, especially after hurricanes and stuff like that, natural disasters. There's definitely properties out there that need some fixing and flipping.
Yeah, that's a good point, Lisa. I mean, especially in some of these areas, people have don't if they're not looking to go back or they're looking to sell their home. So it can be two investment opportunities for investors that want to go in and repair some of these homes for either for a flip or for rentals.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, as well as like second homes, people who are looking for second homes. We do live in an area, Mardi Gras and different events. So there's quite a few people that, New Orleans is a second home to them, and they want to purchase a second home and rent it out short term, like we discussed earlier, because there's definitely a market for that as well.
So I would imagine, with the French Quarter and everything in New Orleans as far as tourism and sports and activities, are there a lot of like condo opportunities and lofts and condos that people use for that, like as a second home, and then they rent it out the rest of the year?
Yes, absolutely. So there's lots of condos in the New Orleans area near the French Quarter, duplexes, fourplexes, and we have clients that will, purchase those and rent them out short term, or sometimes they're just, just available to family members.
Sure.
But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, another, I think, unique point to our area, Tony, is in it's not a very it's not seasonal like
right,
a lot of
right.
areas are. So you wouldn't, you might not be in up north in the winter, right? So you've got people, these snowbirds that come down, and so we have a lot of that going on. But it's really not a seasonal area. New Orleans is, food and music and
Oh, yeah.
and festivals and all this type of thing. And so really it's year round. So for those opportunities in terms of, these short-term rentals and that is also really just a great area, Tony, for real estate. And and I think it always will be. And so, as I say, that's why we're just really happy to have Lisa with us today, just to let our listeners know that we have some, really good resources when it comes to real estate, whether it's buying, flipping, fixing up, rentals, income-producing properties. It's just can be another area to diversify in your portfolio, into your estate planning, and really, like I say, it could be a big part of your overall retirement plan.
Anthony, I know that our listeners, if they have questions about the financial side of it, they can also call and ask for you or one of your staff there. You guys do a great job of taking care of not only your clients, but our listeners, if they ever have any questions. Well, we just have a couple of minutes left. Lisa, is there anything else you wanted to add?
It's just been an incredible market to be a part of, 2020 and 2021. Sellers are happy, buyers are happy. We're keeping our clients happy. Just a fun fact that Nikki and I like to tell everybody: what sets us apart from other realtors is we simply answer our phones. We respond. We connect with our clients. It's as soon as they need us, if they have any concerns, we like to put them at ease. And I like to say we get that from Anthony. He likes to take care of his clients, and so we work together great as a team.
That's awesome that you and Nikki do that, and I know the communication is key, and that's
Absolutely.
what you guys are great at. And I've had bad experiences with realtors that were not communicative. They didn't communicate well or properly, and that's always frustrating. And that's the great thing about you guys. And you're right when you mention Anthony. Anthony, you are a great communicator, and that's why your clients love you. That's why we love you, and it's fun to do the show with you each week.
Well, thank you, Tony. I couldn't do it without you. That is so, I believe that. You've been fabulous for us. We really appreciate you. And at the end of the day, I just like to say that, if you think about it, none of us live on an island.
Right.
There's professionals in all aspects. And so I would just say, as an advisory firm, being a hub, there may be some legal aspects of things. So your attorney and your advisor should be communicating. There may be some tax implications to anything we do. Your accountant or your CPA and your advisor should be communicating. There may be real estate transactions or real estate strategies. Again, your advisor and your realtor should be communicating. So really, when you've got these professionals and, the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing and nobody's really talking to each other, it's really a disadvantage on all fronts. And ultimately, it costs the client, because the professionals that they've reached out to don't know each other and don't talk to each other. And so, at the end of it, I think that all of the professionals that you have in your corner should have a relationship for, frankly, a much better result.
Yeah. Well, it's been a great show today, guys, but we're out of time. Anthony, just let them know one more time how to get a hold of you guys, and then we can wrap it up.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate y'all tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can always reach us at crescentcityretirement.com. All of the shows are archived, so they're on our website. Additionally, we do have some workshops coming up. Going to be at Keith Young's Steakhouse in Madisonville. So please log on to our website and you can see the dates and times and register for the workshops coming up. It's really a fun time. It'll be the last two events we do for the year. And so we just want to thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate you tuning in. And if you don't have a formal plan or you'd like to get a second opinion, please take advantage of our offer.
Thank you for listening to Retirement Keys. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound income plan. For more information, please contact Anthony Kangemi at Crescent City Retirement Group. Call 504-828-2171 or visit the website at crescentcityretirement.com. All matters discussed during this show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. Anthony Kangemi and Crescent City Retirement Group are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency.